Hello, everyone. This is Vanessa Romero. I'm the head of talent acquisition here at Job City. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here. As you probably know, I'm going to be talking today about teamwork. I have to confess that this is a subject that I really like, and I would say is the secret sauce for me. To have success, I guess, in my career and with my team. So without further ado, let's just start. So I wanted to start this presentation with this quote that I believe is already, I will dare to say, part of the identity of the TA Job Cities team. In this case, we want to quote Virginia Burton. With this, it says, cooperation is a thorough conviction that nobody gets there until everyone gets there. I don't think we have to give it a lot of thought beyond the fact that even if you have, top performers in your team, if you have a very good individual contributor, if you are working with a team, it doesn't matter how good they are if the rest are not working. If the I guess synchrony between all of the areas is not completely done, probably the objectives will not be met. So yeah, to be honest, this quote, I've been using it for, I think I'm going to be close to 2 years now, and just to, I guess, identify the way that I like to work with my team. And again, I believe it's also already kind of part of the identity of everyone. So yeah. So to start, I wanted to tell you a story. And this is, of course, a story about teamwork. Here you can see three pictures. The first one is a picture that was taken in Brazil in 2022, the very early beginning of 2022. I believe it was in February. And the people that you can see there is the people that used to be the allocation team, okay? To give you a little bit of context, we were in charge of selecting the candidates that were provided by recruitment and sourcing and place them into the different clients that we had. The second picture that you can see there is the actually recruitment team. It was taken a few months later, after the first picture. It was taken in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And to be honest, it was a coincidence, but a big part of the recruitment team was located in Buenos Aires. And we decided that we wanted to come here. And I came solely as the representative of allocation, just to give kind of an input of an outside department. And this is a real story. Allocation and recruitment used to work as completely different independent departments. That worked for a bit, but then a few problems started to happen. And when you have problems, I guess, with the supply chain of a product, it kind of becomes a snowball of problems. And the main thing, or the main problem, was the fact that these two teams, even though the final outcome would be the same, we have very much different objectives and very much different goals. The goal for recruitment was just to approve candidates for allocation to use. The main thing that happened or started to happen is that the quality of the candidates that we were providing to our clients started to decrease a lot. And again, that caused a lot of, I would say, bigger problems. Now, the final picture that you can see was also taken in Buenos Aires. It was taken a few months ago. I believe it was in February of this year. And you can see people that were in the first picture and people that were in the second picture as well. And that is the current TA team. Currently, we are a one team. just to say it in a word, we work together. I can confidently say that we all are aligned. Of course, it's a bigger team, so it implies a lot of more challenges that we're going to be discussing later. But in general terms, we are aligned, and just because of teamwork and understanding everyone's work and everyone's effort, we made it happen. And now, again, we are just one big team, and a happy one, I hope. Okay, moving forward. I just want to kind of tickle your curiosity or your imagination, creativity, whatever you want to call it. And I want you to think about this. So think about your greatest accomplishment, whatever is important or has been important for you in the past. And while you think about it, I want you to also, I guess, think about the fact that you probably had support. And in this case, do you think you would have been able to accomplish what you accomplished alone? And if you would have been alone, would the outcome had been the same? And keeping those things in mind, I want to invite you to a little exercise, let's say. In the next slide, I have a QR, I'm sorry. I want you to scan it with your phone, and it will lead you to an application or just a small tab where you can put in your own words, what is teamwork for you? This will give us a nice result that I'll be showing in a bit. So I'm going to give you some time to do it, and I'll be showing you the results. So let's just wait for a bit until we see them, okay? If for some reason the QR is not working, just you can type the link. I know it's a little bit of a hassle, but I mean, yeah. Okay, we're starting to get results. I'm gonna take my time to see if we get some others. Thank you very much for participating. Okay. I had the first answer. Okay, awesome. Perfect. We're getting a lot of answers now. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, I'm going to be showing the answers that we have. We have 9 answers, 11 now. Okay, 15. Okay, start to sound kind of like, I don't know, charity something, or just a bingo, whatever. Thank you very much for participating. I'm going to share the screen with the results now, okay? So these are the results. They might change anytime because, yeah, and they did. Okay, so the bigger words that you can see here are the words that are most repeated, obviously. We have different concepts. I think this communication has to be the main one, which I completely agree. Then we have collaboration, cooperation, support. We see trust, we see care, we see reliability. We see the word essential, not so big, but really important, actually. We see success, power, unity, one, merge capabilities, synchronicity, when together, strengths, and weaknesses. So thank you very much, guys, for giving us these answers. I just have to, make a screen capture of this because I think it's very valuable for everyone. And honestly, I do think it summarizes a lot of what teamwork entails. And yeah, I mean, there are some challenges as you can see here, in strengths and weaknesses, but there are also good things, of course, that come with teamwork. So moving forward, I want to share with you curious, quick data about teamwork. So there are plenty of studies out there, but this is not the time to, do kind of super deep investigation. I invite you, if you're very interested, you can check the different studies. But I wanted to give you two main facts. One is a study conducted by McKinsey and Company found that companies with highly effective teamwork and collaboration were 5 times more likely to be high performing. So that's extremely important, of course, for a company. So fact one. And the second fact, according to the Google Project Aristotle study, it showed that the most successful teams created an environment of psychological safety where the team members felt comfortable taking risks, expressing their opinions, and being vulnerable without fear of judgment or retribution. I don't think we have to go deeper into understanding that if you feel comfortable, if you feel psychologically safe, if you feel free to express your opinion, and being vulnerable eventually will lead you to psychological well-being, which is, I think, the closest concept to happiness. But another topic. But yeah, it's extremely important for everyone. So, as I said before, building teamwork is not actually completely easy to do. And it requires, as I mentioned here, ongoing effort and commitment. So I have a few topics here that are typically the challenges that you can face while building an effective teamwork. And I have quotes that I thought might represent the reality of this challenges. So the first one is communication barriers. The typical, that's not what I meant, or you understood something different than what I said, or those things that can happen. If you can see, you have two star signs right after it, and that means that as much as it is a challenge, it is an actual opportunity. So of course, communication is extremely key. And spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about communication a lot. So in this case, of course, if we handle communication properly, it doesn't necessarily have to be a barrier or a problem or a challenge. Of course, again, it requires a lot of effort, different means, and some other things that we're going to be talking in the future. Second thing, trust issues. The classic also, how do I know they're doing what they say? That is very typical when you have to do a type of work that requires someone else to do something. And if you don't really trust that someone else is actually doing it, we have two kind of people here. The first one that will say, okay, I'm going to do it myself, and I don't care if they don't do it, I'm going to do it myself. And you have the other people is like, I don't care if they don't do it well, I do my part, and that's all I have to do. Both of them end up in problems. The first one, you affect your coworker. The second one, you affect your coworker, and of course, the final outcome. So definitely a problem. The third one, in a team, role ambiguity. This happens, and to be honest and to be vulnerable, it has happened in my team when someone doesn't really know if they have to do it or is it someone else's task, and then I didn't do it because I thought it was this other person's responsibility. So again, just this small problems that will become a huge snowball. Then we also have conflict resolution. This is obvious. I mean, in every single relationship, and let's take teamwork as another expression of human relationships. We have conflict resolution. Conflicts are everywhere in every single relationship. The thing is, how do we solve them? I gave you here, I think, the best way for me to solve them. And it's a keyword that is accountability. So when I am accountable for what I did, and I hope that you are accountable for what you did, you and me will be able to, find a midpoint or somewhere in the middle, and we're going to be able to build a bridge. So this is the first batch of barriers. Second batch, and I promise we're not going to be long in this. So the first thing is skill and knowledge gaps. That's another thing that really happens a lot in different teams. And it happens when you hire people, or we work with people that are not quite trained for the role that they have been given, right? Or they don't know enough, or they're very new, etc. So if someone doesn't really know how to do their things, of course, things are not gonna get done, obviously. But this is also a very big opportunity, because one of the things that will help us to create an effective team, and of course, having teamwork, is to actually have mentors. So there's nothing more inspiring and there's nothing more cooperative, hopefully I'm saying it properly, than actually teaching someone how to do things. So if we have a good, the good value of being collaborative within the team, having someone with the skills and knowledge gaps is just the biggest opportunity to get that someone onboarded, because we start from the fact that everyone can learn, right? And so yeah, that's another opportunity. Moving forward, lack of leadership and guidance. Again, when you don't really know, even if you're doing a great work, your coworkers are doing a great work, remember that conflicts are everywhere. If you don't have anyone to stand up for you, if you don't have anyone that can at least hear your problem, hear your feelings, hear your opinions, eventually that great team is going to fall apart. So necessarily you will have to have a supporter lead to guide you through the problems. Again, problems will be there always. And I want to talk about this final one, which is important for me. For those who probably have seen me, I really like to talk about diversity and inclusion and women in technology and all that. And it's the fact that the more diverse that you have a team, the more complicated it is for them to find things in common. That's the reality. If you have a team that is completely homogeneous, it will be very easy for them to find things in common and therefore work together. But if you start bringing diversity and you don't bring that other ingredient, which is inclusion, you will have a mess of a team. Why? Inclusion basically stands for the fact that not only bringing people that are diverse and different, but also making them part and building a team open, flexible, and supportive enough that they can feel as part of the big group, regardless of their background and whatever variable that you can consider, gender, sexuality, orientation, whatever. The thing is, the inclusion is definitely the key. So these are the challenges that you can face while trying to build effective teamwork. For the next slide, I wanted to invite someone from my team. I thought that doing a presentation, a lunch and learn about teamwork and doing it alone felt a little bit hypocrite, right? So I invited someone from my team, my dear Nina. She will help me to bring down to earth a few of these concepts. So welcome, Nina. Thank you very much for being here and joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, of course.
Awesome. Okay, so let's do this. As you can see, these are concepts that, as I said before, very common. Some of them were mentioned in the previous exercise. I want to talk about them very briefly, and then I'm going to bring Nina to kind of, again, bring these concepts to reality, to tell you examples and how we've handled these concepts in our team. So the first one, talk and communication. that is obvious, right? How do we communicate with everyone? How do we say things? How do we keep an open bridge of, yeah, talk and listen? And again, communication. I don't want to go over the same concept. Then we have vulnerability. This is extremely important, and I don't think it came on the exercise, but it is completely necessary to show vulnerability and to accept the vulnerability from your team members in order to create a good, long lasting relationship with your coworkers, with your friends, with your family, whomever. Okay. Then we have accountability, the one that I talked about before. Definitely feeling responsible for the things that you are responsible for and recognizing when you have to be accountable for the outcomes. And finally, trust. Again, very much repeated, but it's extremely necessary to know that someone has your back, right? That you can trust that someone with whatever they're doing to have a successful outcome. Again, I'm going to leave you to the story. So, Mike is yours.
Thank you. So when I think about communication and vulnerability and accountability and trust, what I think about is, or the example that comes to mind is when I invited other people from another department in Job City to join a meeting with me and one of my candidates so they could shadow the session, right? And learn with me from it. So I remember when I invited 2 people from the sales team to do that, to be with me and my candidate on a prep call specifically. So we had a new process going on. It was new for the whole company. It was new for me as well. And having them shadowing this meeting or shadowing this session made a big difference. At least this is how I feel. So it was great to show them what the meeting was about, the goal we had when we do that kind of meeting. And then when it finished, when the candidate left, me and the colleague stayed in the call, and we discussed it. We did like a debriefing session, right? And I asked for feedback. I remember that I asked for feedback. So it was a learning experience for everyone involved.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving to the other set, and we're going to have another story. So for the next set, we have empathy. Again, a very repeated concept, not so easy to achieve, of course, depending on different things, but it's just the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. That requires a lot, honestly. And the good thing is trainable. It is, but requires a lot. And not all the times we have the empathy to understand what the other person has been through to get to the point where they meet with you for whatever reason. Again, this is something that you can apply not only to teamwork, but again, every single relationship that you can have. Then we have goals. In this case, goals doesn't mean, to have a goal. It's the fact that we have clear goals. And that is, I think, the keyword. If we know what we're doing and why we're doing it, it kind of makes us do it with purpose, obviously, and do it willingly and be motivated to do it because you know that the outcome is something that you want. And in that line of thought, we have the meaning and significance. It is extremely important for someone to feel that whatever they're doing has a significant impact in the team, in the relationship, again, whatever. So for me and my team, I always try to tell them how important they are, because literally without them and without each little work they do every day, it would have been impossible. And finally, we have respect. This is, I think, the base of everything, like the framework that allows us to build the rest of them. So if you have a good communication, if you put yourself out there and you're vulnerable, if you're accountable, if you have trust in everyone, and everyone trusts you, but you have no respect, you literally break all of those things apart. Just the building goes down. So obviously necessary. And again, to bring these concepts to real life, I leave you with Nina.
I absolutely agree. Yes, all of them are important, but respect is a foundation for sure. So the example I would like to share here is a presentation that the staffing support team did to another team in Job City. So we showcased what we had achieved so far since it was a new team, right? So we talked about many different things in that meeting, but especially the rejection rate that diminished significantly on that time. It was 2 quarters, if I'm not mistaken. So as we know, this is a very important KPI to the whole company, and we decided to share all of that information with a whole department and with even more people to ensure that they see what we do and, most importantly, how we do it. So I believe it's a good example of empathy, goals, meaning, and respect.
Thank you very much, Nina. All right, thank you very much for your participation. We're about to finish, and we're going to give some time also to questions, but I wanted to summarize this whole presentation into 2 concepts, okay? And I'm sorry if I'm being too repetitive, but this is a reality. Communication is key, not only for teamwork, but also for every single relationship. And as we know, humans are social human beings, and it is extremely necessary to communicate. So again, repeated concept, a lot to do, honestly. Having communication entails a lot more things than just saying whatever you feel and putting your words out. Entails a lot, but as much as repeated you can feel it, it is the essential part of a good relationship. And to finish, the second key concept that I want to leave you for life is trust. Again, you can have a very good relationship with anyone in your team, but the secret for that relationship to be good at all times and be persistent in time is definitely trust. So after you have reached a point where you know you can be vulnerable, when you know that person will be accountable, when you know that you can communicate the way you like to communicate, when you know that everyone is clear on their own things, the only way to sustain that in time is through trust. Again, easy to say, not so easy to achieve. It's an ongoing work. It has been an ongoing work in my team. And I do believe that all of these concepts are things that we should work on every day in order to have successful outcomes from whatever it is. So that's the message I wanted to give you. I don't know if we have any questions. I'm gonna make sure I check it here. But if we don't, perhaps Nina, do you have any questions?
Not really, Vane. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for having me today. This was my first YouTube event.
It was my first too, to be honest. And I was really nervous at the beginning, but this is a topic that I really love. I really believe in. And ultimately, again, I think it makes the dream work, not only the dream team, obviously. So if that's it, I think we can say our goodbye. So again, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Nina, for being here. Thank you to all of you who participated in the poll and stayed during the YouTube live. And see you in a bit, I guess. Have a good one. Bye-bye.